On this 2010 to 2016 Honda CR-V with the 2.4 gas engine, P0339 points to an intermittent interruption in the crankshaft position sensor circuit. In plain terms, the PCM may be losing or doubting the crank signal at times. The vehicle may crank longer than normal, stumble, stall, or set the code with no obvious symptom if the fault is intermittent. Broadly, the possible fault areas can include the CKP sensor circuit, connector or terminal issues, grounds, the CKP pulse plate, or the sensor itself. Start with the basic system checks, and if transmission codes are stored at the same time, handle those first, then come back and recheck P0339. Begin by trying to duplicate the code in a controlled way. Turn the vehicle to on mode, clear the code with the HDS, then start the engine and let it idle for 10 seconds. Watch the OBD status for P0339 in the HDS DTC menu. If the status shows failed, the fault is duplicated and you move into circuit and component checks. If it shows passed, keep going with the road test verification. If it shows not completed, keep it idling until the monitor gives you a result. If it did not fail at idle, test drive the vehicle for several minutes in the same general engine speed and vehicle speed range captured when the code set. Keep monitoring the OBD status for P0339 with the HDS. If it shows failed, the fault is duplicated and you continue to the connector and terminal checks. If it shows passed, treat it as an intermittent failure that is not acting up right now. At that point, the system is okay at this time, but you still check for poor connections or loose terminals at the CKP sensor and PCM, and if captured data is available, try to reproduce those same conditions again. If the status is not completed, retest and check the OBD status again. Once the failure is duplicated, check the CKP sensor circuit connection points before condemning a part. Look for poor connections or loose terminals at the CKP sensor, the PCM, the engine ground, and the body ground. If the connections and terminals are not okay, repair the connection or terminal issue. If they are okay, continue to the CKP pulse plate inspection. Next, remove the CKP sensor and inspect the CKP pulse plate for damage. If the pulse plate is damaged, replace the CKP pulse plate. If the pulse plate is not damaged, replace the CKP sensor. The key is the order. Duplicate the fault first, rule out connection and terminal problems, then inspect the pulse plate before making the sensor decision. For P0339, do not chase an intermittent crank signal blindly. Reproduce the operating conditions. Use the scan status to confirm whether the fault is active. Check the CKP circuit connections and grounds. Then inspect the pulse plate before replacing the supported component. For more diagnostic training, visit Diagnostics.com.